How's it, guys? It's Davey FPL and welcome back to the Deadline with Davey live stream. This live stream is going to revolve around blank game week 12, but before we get into all the questions, let me know if the audio is sounding Gucci, this video is sounding Gucci. I know we are slightly earlier than usual. I do apologize for that. Kind of a combination between load shedding and I'm playing football tonight. And you know what they say, football is life, so I'm going to have to kind of prioritize the football game over FPL. But don't worry, we have locked in the moves already, and we might make one more, but I think that's a little bit of a kind of sideways move. We'll discuss that shortly. But if you guys can just let me know how you guys are doing on this very fine Tuesday evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you guys are around the world. My local time is currently 5, but I think if you guys are in the UK, it's currently 4. And if you guys are based elsewhere, it's probably late into the night. So thank you for joining me. Looking and sounding top notch, says Harry. Harry, as always, thank you, brother, for joining. The team needs to be Gucci, says Darth as well. The team looks pretty Gucci. There's one or two positions here that are a bit sus, but I think by the end of the stream, hopefully we can improve it. Probably not. I've already used two transfers, taken a -4 hit. But yes, Gregorian Law load shedding in 55 minutes, then have a footy game afterwards. So I thought I'd just extend the stream a little bit earlier. Still have the hour slot, but it might be about 50 minutes or so. I don't want the PC to crash too much. But yes, so currently we are on a -4. Blank Game Week 12 has forced that. And also James Maddison's discipline has forced that. So we did Maddison to Trossard and then KDB to Salah. And currently Salah is going to be our captain. If you guys do want to vote on your captain, you can just go and vote on the poll above. Currently 79% on Mo Salah. We then have 10% on Trossard and 3% on Trippier, with 8% saying other. Who are you guys captaining other than Salah, Trippier or Trossard? Is it maybe a Harry Kane? So Joel with the super chat saying, howdy, same team as Seb Patterson, Anderson, Firmino for Zuma, Mitro, and Nico. Okay, I understand what you're saying there. 2 free transfers, what should I do? Okay, so you've got Anderson, which is fine. You've got Firmino. Just correct me if it is Anderson, the Crystal Palace centre-back. That is correct. You can just correct me there, Joel. And then you say you have Patterson, who unfortunately is going to be missing. And you have Firmino. So Firmino's fine. Mitro is, okay, so you don't have Mitrovic. Firmino's fine. Anderson's fine. Patterson's your only concern. I would probably try and take him out for maybe one of the Brighton assets if you want to. If you have significant funds, you can do Trent Alexander-Arnold or maybe a Van Dijk. That could also be a popular move. So Anderson and Firmino are 100% fine because they'll play this week. You don't have Mitrovic or Zuma. I mean, you're not going to take out Firmino for Mitrovic this week. And you don't have Neko. Neko and Patterson are basically the same because I don't think any of them are going to get points this week. So, Joel, what I would do is just try and do Patterson to maybe a Dunk, a Webster, or if you can make a significant upgrade, I'd look at the Liverpool assets. That's what I would do. But thank you for the super chat, and just commented if I haven't replied to your question well enough. FPL Jones Bloke says, how's it, Davey? How's it, FPL Jones Bloke? Hopefully doing well. Is Salah and Darwin worth a -8? So, Rohan, for me, 100% Salah's worth it because you're probably going to captain him. And that's why in my team selection video, I mentioned this, that I'm almost taking Salah as the -4 because it makes me look slightly better because hopefully he gets 2 appearance points. Then because I captain him, only has to get 1 point extra, so 3 points at the end of the day to make that transfer null and void. So the captaincy makes it a lot easier to always bring a player in on a hit, and that's how I would suggest this week doing so. And where I currently am at is I'm looking at Zuma to Trent Alexander-Arnold or Zuma to maybe a Van Dijk, that sort of thing, because I want a Liverpool defensive coverage option anyways in the future. So why not do it this week? But now we've got news that Zuma might actually play. So if he was out, I probably would have done that move, but because he might be featuring this week, I might be put off it. -4 confirmed so far, yes, Harry. So those 2 moves were locked in last night before the price drops. Maddison dropped in price. De Bruyne dropped in price. Salah and Trossard didn't rise though. So if you can still afford that with about 0.2 to spend, then I would still do those moves. Vincent saying, OMG, you are live, any electricity outages? So yes, actually that's why I'm doing this stream earlier on, is because I have load shedding from 6 to 8 tonight. And therefore, I'm doing it when I have some time to spare. Also playing footy later, so it kind of worked out quite well. Gary's saying, I have Soufal. Should I do a -4 for another defender? As far as I'm concerned, Soufal might actually have a chance of starting this week. So I would probably just leave it. Yes, he might concede a lot to Liverpool, but I would probably just say, just go with Soufal and then see how it goes. Hello Davey, is Trent coming into the squad this game week? Only if we get some confirmed news about Zuma. I think right now I might just keep him because next week I want him anyways for the Bournemouth game. Going to bench Solanke, so yes, Giga Chad Solanke will be on the bench. But if we do get news about maybe Zuma not featuring, which I don't think we will, then I'm pretty tempted to do the Trent move. My main concern about Trent though is I think he'll start against West Ham, but I need him to start against Nottingham Forest because that game is basically a locked in clean sheet. But with the Champions League coming around the corner, Liverpool have to win these next few games. I would say that Trent might be rotated. Who kind of knows what's going to happen? And that's my main concern about Trent. And that's why I mentioned Van Dijk earlier, because he might actually be a more sensible option. Do you reckon Emerson starts for West Ham? And is it worth taking an extra hit for Trent? It's the same thing with Emerson and Sufal. I mean, if Zuma's going to be out, I think there might be some rotation in that defensive department. Emerson might feature, Sufal might feature. I might hold off on it, but I think if you understand the risk and you think that West Ham are going to concede, then I might do it. I just don't know. I think the extra week of information might be better with Trent. I just worry slightly about him kind of coming back from injury and suddenly being thrown back into playing 3 games in a week, because he's not going to start all 3 of them, and he's probably going to start the Champions League game unless they want to go super defensive. Another thing I'm concerned about is there's no Sterry Stumpy this week. So we've had 2 massive game weeks on the trot with the deadline stream chocolate milk, and now I've switched it up. So hopefully this week is still a green arrow, but I'm not so certain now. For free, should I sell Son to Salah? If you want to captain Salah, I would do it. Is Joe Gomez viable? Julian, for a very short-term punt, I'd say Joe Gomez is viable. Because Konate, he apparently, the injury isn't as bad as kind of initially thought, and therefore he could be back for the foreseeable future. But with Joe Gomez, what might be nice is, say he starts at centre-back this week, then suddenly he starts at right-back for Trent against Nottingham Forest. That could be a situation you go for, and then you're kind of getting him for 2. But I would say just be a little bit concerned about that. Herman saying, would a Trent/Van Dijk move not stop you from a Foden/Saka move in Game Week 13? Herman, thank you for asking this question, because it will not stop me. And I did check that, don't worry guys. I checked it. If I go from Zuma to Trent, I have 8.5 to spend on a midfielder, and therefore I can bring in Foden or Saka. So Herman, good question there. Thanks for reminding me about that one, brother. But yeah, I can still afford Foden and Saka, which is why I'm even more tempted to do it, because it allows me to get a pretty nice team. So yeah, that's my current thinking. Starting Haaland, Cancelo and Martinelli. No, I'm not one of those managers that are going to bench everyone that has a blank game week. I'm going to keep it as it is, and just show some respect to the mini leagues here, that I'm not kind of bothering them too much. But if you guys want to go for that, 100%, that's fine. Ropefly saying, put Leno, Aston Villa or Ward, Leeds in the goal. I would say Leno. I think Aston Villa's attack, I think that Fulham's defense, although both of those defenses are terrible, I don't know actually. Maybe you start Ward there. That's a super tough one. It's almost like trash versus garbage. It's like I don't know which one to start here. Let's make Ropefly. What I would do is go 50-50, go spin the wheel or flip a coin and then see what happens. James saying, Davey, what a legend. Thanks, James. Are you live for 2 hours or just the start of the stream earlier? So, Jamie, I'm starting the stream early, unfortunately. I've got load shedding, but I'm also playing footy later, so it kind of correlated quite nicely. So I'm just streaming for this next kind of 50 minutes up until, I think your time, if you're in the UK, will be about 5. Would you get Perisic or Dyer? I'd get Perisic. I think that he might be a rotation risk, but with the kind of speaking about Conte talking about him playing at the right wing slot, that kind of tempts me slightly more. But I think that Dyer's the boring one. Perisic's the more exciting one. I don't think I'd get either of them this week. I think it's a tough fixture, but if you want to go for either of them, I think you have to punt on Perisic. I'll stick to Leno then, says Jerofly. So sorry for tuning your goalkeepers, but I think you understand what I'm saying. Both kind of bad defenses there, but hopefully you do get a clean sheet. Sky's saying, hey Davey, can we consider Aston Villa mids like a Bailey or Ramsey? Bailey I'm fine with because he's so cheap, but I don't think I'd extend past that. Jacob Ramsey as well is semi-fine. I just don't trust Villa, and I think you are hoping that Stevie G gets sacked then so they get a new manager bounce. Is Robertson a good option? Robertson's a fine option, but I do think now that Tsimikas has played so many minutes for that squad, I think there might still be some rotation between them because of the intensity of the Champions League, the intensity of the fullback position for Liverpool. So I wouldn't be super confident of a Robbo, whereas with the Trent, I'm more confident because he's not kind of a direct replacement, where Tsimikas is always in the wings if Robbo needs a rest. And remember that Robbo has the FIFA World Cup coming up, so they don't want to kind of extend him too much and then he gets injured, for example. What is the best fixture for a clean sheet this round? Definitely, there's two that I had my eye on. It's Brighton versus Nottingham Forest, and then it's Crystal Palace versus Wolves. I think both those two games, touch wood, should hopefully be locked in clean sheets. I don't own a Brighton defender, but I mean, if you guys do, I think that's an expectation almost of a clean sheet. Those would be my two favorites. Trippier, Everton might be kind of a good game for Newcastle, but I think I trust Crystal Palace and Brighton slightly more. So those would be my two bankers if I had to kind of bet on a clean sheet. Kagiso saying I'm leaning towards Kane out for Darwin. That's an interesting punt to go for, but I might say that West Ham's not an easy game, to be honest. I mean, we've looked in the ultimate guides. They have a pretty good XG conceded. I don't exactly know if for this game week it's been top 5, but the previous ultimate guide it was top 5 XG conceded. So I don't think it's an easy game there. Whereas with United, it's a big game for Spurs. I think they're going to counter-attack, and that should be quite favorable for maybe a Harry Kane. And I mean, he's just been so consistent. So I'd probably keep Kane this week. Whereas next week, what you could do is check who's going to start against Nottingham Forest. If it's going to be Firmino, if it's going to be Darwin, you bring either of those two assets in. So maybe hold that transfer off for this week, and then just play Kane. Holy Butter, do you think Liverpool's defense is weakened with Trent playing? It's a tough one to say because I think kind of the proof's in the pudding that it probably is a bit weaker, but that might also just be the style that they or the formation they play around. I think that Liverpool are picking up some form now. I think the Man City game will be a big one, and we just need some confidence in that defense, I feel. And that's why I almost think that's a nice kind of week to bring in Trent, because it's before the masses do it. If they keep it clean sheet against West Ham, maybe an attacking return for a Virgil or Trent, we're going to be absolutely singing, because then he's going to be a tempered option almost. Madison out for Trossard or Mount. I prefer Trossard because next week you can just move him to Saka or Foden. But if you don't want that move, if you don't want to take a short-term punt, definitely Mount's the better option. What I'm saying there, guys, is next week I'm going to probably take Trossard to either Saka or Foden just because I want those options long-term. And that's why if you guys don't want to spend another transfer on that short-term punt, then just go for a Mount because he's better over the long term. You're preaching that West Ham's a tough game, yet you're captaining Salah. So the reason I'm captaining Salah, and I do agree with you, there might be a contradiction there, but when I say a tough game, I don't mean it's going to be like a 4-0 or 3-0, for example. I think that Liverpool might win like a 2-0, 2-1, and if Salah gets both goals, that's 100% fine. Similar situation with Wilfried Zaha. I think it's going to be a tough game, but if Crystal Palace only score 1 or 2 and Zaha's involved in both or 1, you're going to be fine with it. I just feel like Salah's also the sensible option here. So if it does turn into a big game, then we can go for that. I was just kind of equating it to almost going for Darwin and Kane, as I feel like Kane is rivaled there in terms of fixtures. And for me, it was an easy one because KDB had a blank. Ward or Sanchez in goal, Davey. Andrew, 100% Sanchez. Please do not start Ward over Sanchez in goal. He has almost the most banked clean sheet that you can get. Nottingham Forest at home is a great fixture. So please, Andrew, please start Sanchez instead of Danny Ward. Mitro to Foden, game week 13 -4 or game week 14 2 free transfers. FPL Junkie, it's a little bit of a tough one. I kind of get what you're saying. You're saying that you want to downgrade maybe Mitro to upgrade a midfielder. I might just wait for, if you have to play Mitro next week, that's fine. Let's just see how it goes. Ask me in the game week 13 deadline stream rather. I have Saka and Martinelli. Should I replace each of them? That's a tough one, Curtis, and something I mentioned in the free draft today is if you guys have like a triple up on Man City, triple up on Arsenal, I might be actually tempted to just free it to keep those assets because they have nice fixtures coming up. I think the sensible option might be just to play with 10 or 9 options and then just keep those assets for the future. But you could also do like a kind of switcheroo there, take out Saka this week, bring him back next week. That could also work quite nicely if you have a transfer to burn. Mikhail saying, please help with the Martial replacements. In terms of strikers, I think Solanke is fine. Mitrovic is also fine. But if you can stretch, I'd look at Firmino or Darwin. Slightly edging towards Darwin over Firmino just because of the more central kind of approach when he does start. Otherwise, you can look at other assets there. Tony doesn't look too bad, although he has Chelsea this week. Brentford should probably score against them. But I think between those assets, probably where you're looking. And you probably own Haaland already, so he's out of the question. So, Mikhail, that's what I would kind of do. If you have money, I'd go Firmino, Darwin. Otherwise, Mitrovic or Solanke is perfectly fine. Harry, is it silly to go Van Dijk instead of Trent, mainly for financial reasons? No, so if it's for financial reasons, I would be fine with it. If it's for kind of you putting them on the same platter and you can afford both, then I would say probably Trent. But if it's for financial reasons, then and Van Dijk's more nailed, then 100% that's fine. Will Zuma start or Sufal? I can't exactly say because apparently Zuma was in a little bit of training, so can't say that if he's going to be starting or not, and the same with Sufal. It's a very tough game week to predict West Ham's defense, and that's why it's a punt. If you take them out and they do well, you have to take that risk. I have triple City, triple Arsenal, no Liverpool. Should I free it? Question mark. So triple City, triple Liverpool. That means that you at a minimum have about... How many options is that? So your bench is full and then 3 of your starting 11 are out. So that's going to be, you have 8 options. I won't say that you necessarily have to do that. I would maybe say take a 1 free transfer and do some switcheroos there and play with 9. That could also be fine. It's quite hard for me to say if the free hit's going to be worth it this week or not because we don't know about the future. There's going to be a blank game week that's big in the future, but it might not be a great one. I would say that I probably would try and hold off on it if I can, and that's why I mentioned that I would probably just leave it for this week and do 1 free transfer and then bring them back in the next week. Do you think Van Dijk is nailed until the World Cup? I do think so, especially with the injuries for Liverpool. So Gomez is currently going to be paired with him. Matip's out for about 2 weeks. Konate might not be out for that long, but I just think that Van Dijk's going to start every game. Unless it's like a League Cup game, then he might be rested. But I would be fairly confident of him starting the majority of games. Hey Davey, Ward or Pope? I'd go with Pope definitely. Yafet. Trossard or Kane captain? Todd, what I would do is wait until you get early team news. If Trossard's in the starting 11, I'd captain him over Kane personally. But I think on paper right now, you have to go with the more consistent option. That's Harry Kane. But unfortunately, guys, I can't help you on that early team news because I'm going to be on the football pitch. So unless I go and sub myself and then check my phone. But please just make sure that you guys do check Twitter if there is some early team news. But I've already brought in Trossard, so I'm not going to take him out. If he starts, he starts. But I'm not going to captain him as well. Ward or Raya? Chelsea have been slightly struggling to score at the moment, but I'd probably start Ward there. Although I think Brentford's defense is slightly better, but I see they have had some long-term injuries. So that's also a tough one to go for. But if your goalkeeper debates the only problem with your team, I think that you guys should be fine for blank game week 12. Hey Dave, I have 2 free transfers. Already got Salah and Trossard. Still have James playing. What defender for it should I get? Have Trippier, Gay already. Perisic. Now, I'd go with Trent or Van Dijk, James. Those are the 2 I would look at. Harry saying -8 to... Those moves look fine. Like, those are the moves that I would do, Harry. So, I can't really disagree with them too much. That's the move that I would probably do. Sorry, I just forgot to play music. So, now I'm going to play some music. Should I sell Malacia? As far as I know, he might have lost his spot. So that could be a sell. Look at projected or predicted Man United lineups. Just search predicted Man United lineup versus Spurs, and then a few newspapers will come up. And if Malacia is expected to start, then I just keep him, but otherwise sell him. Wish I could take a -4 for Emerson to Davey. So Harry, that might actually be a shot to go for. You might be getting a clean sheet and a few goals, just depending on how good of a game I play. Daniel's saying, hey, David, do you reckon Kane or Trippier captain? I think you have to go with the attacker there. I think you only go with Trippier if you want to be super maverick. If you don't own Salah, you don't own Trossard, then I would go with Trippier, but you have to be maverick to do that. I think that Harry Kane's an equal option in that case. 9 out of 11 players playing. 1 free transfer. No one can bench and Bowen in the starting 11. So Bowen's fine to start. I don't think Liverpool are exactly the epitome of defensive giants this season. And you have 1 free transfer. So take that 1 free transfer to make 10. And then you can always bring them back next week. I have new boots arriving in the next hour or so. What boots do you rock when you play? I've got, I don't know the exact version, but it's Nike Mercurials. That's all that I don't know what version they are. They like neon green. So they might be a little bit obnoxious, but that's what I'm currently dealing with. But I might get more boots at the end of the year. Jacques saying, hi chat. Also saying, anyone with info on Mings, Aston Villa. As far as I know that he potentially was out. Jacques, but I don't know if that's 100% true. Let me go and check for you. But I remember seeing something. I think it was because he was flagged. The FPL bot said that he's out. But I can check for you here. So Tyrone Mings, ankle/foot injury. Let me just see if anything was said on him. I think he'll be all right for Thursday. I didn't see him with any ice on or medical people around, so I assume he's okay. That was said on October the 16th, so I would say that he actually might be fine. So Jacques, if you have him in your team and you need him, I would just keep him. There's no reason to take him out. Zuma to Van Dijk or Robertson. I'll probably go Van Dijk there. Just worry about Robertson potentially being benched one of the games. I have Zuma and Thiago Silva, who are both flagged. Already used 2 free transfers for Salah and a punt on Trossard. What do you think about Zuma out and Anderson for a hit? Rob, that's fine, but I mean, if Zuma's going to feature, then I don't think it's worth it. But I mean, I can understand why you want to do it. Just be careful. No worries, Jacques. Thanks for saying. Cocoa milk before footy, boss. No, so that's why I was saying 2 banging game weeks with the chocolate milk, and now we don't have it. So I'm worried about this game week, to be honest. I want to captain Trossard instead of Salah. Is that dumb? Andy, no, but what I would suggest is wait for early team news. If you get early team news that Trossard's starting, then that's fine to do. But if you don't get early team news, I might be a little bit skeptical. I'm not saying that to kind of scare you off it or whatever, but there just has been some rumors of some potential rotation in that Brighton squad. And the last thing you want to do is captain a guy that's benched. But for my sake, I can't even get early team news, I don't think. So I'm going to rely on Salah this week and hopefully he does the goods. Mount over Kane as a captain. Am I mad? I don't think you're mad. I think that Mount has the better fixture on paper. Do you expect him to play? I've seen some people that might be concerned with that Chelsea lineup. I included Sterling in my free draft because he was benched in game week 11. But Mount should feature, but just be careful about that one. -8 or wild card. That is an interesting debate to go for. I'd probably keep it. What I would do, George, is maybe dead end your team. However, dead ending it with a -8 is a little bit counterintuitive when you have a wild card. Have a think about that one, George. It's a tough one. I might actually just say wild card this week and go with like 10 options and just stack the Man City assets. But you could also wild card next week and then stack Man City and Arsenal, which might be better. Let's see. I have Andreas, Trossard, and Salah. Who should I swap for Saka for? Trossard next week, Kurt. Just don't do it this week. My plan is getting Kane for Solanke next week. But that means I'm stuck with Rashford or Odegaard in midfield to replace Cavadio. Which is better? I'd say Odegaard, Ariel Amit. Wilson or Nunes? I'd say Nunes because of the fixtures. Newcastle don't have the best fixtures in the world, but Liverpool do. The only thing that might be concerning there is that Nunes might not be as nailed as Wilson is, but I think if you're going to take a punt, Nunes is the better option to go for. Worth doing Soufal to an 8 or under for a hit. So it's the same thing that I'm in a predicament about with Soufal. Same with Zuma. I think if Soufal or Zuma starts this week, it's not worth it. But if you're accepting the risk that Soufal or Gomez or Zuma does play this week, and you're fine with it, for example, I'm captaining Salah, so I'm almost hoping that Liverpool score. Then that move might be fine to do. But it's just I can't suggest you guys. I can't give you a definite answer because there's no certainty. And in FPL, I never want to give you a definite answer on uncertainty. Harry's saying, let's get this up to 100 likes. That would be appreciated, guys. Helps me out on the algorithm. Why did you go for Anderson over Gay? So he has slightly better attacking threat, and value for me wasn't an option. I looked at the different combinations of transfers I want to do, and I had enough money in the bank. So I had no problem about the finances, and I thought that with the extra 0.2, when we have to rely on Anderson, I feel like he's the better asset. Nunes or Firmino, higher X minutes. I think Firmino might have the slightly higher expected minutes, but I think that Nunes has the better threat over those. So that's why for me it's a super tough one between them. And that's why I just slightly edge Nunes because of his more central position when they do start. Sky's saying, pardon me, Davey, totally unrelated. Where do you play footy? Just moved back to Josie and I'm looking at team to play. So in Joburg, if you want to play five-a-side, I would recommend Discovery Park. There's a lot of teams that are there, but you might have to kind of get a group of friends together to register a team. Otherwise, there are a few clubs around if you want to play 11-a-side, but it's hard for me to kind of suggest as I play like five-a-side with a bunch of mates. So if you don't have that, it's like a little bit tough to organize five-a-side, but there are some other clubs to kind of look at. Hey, long time no speak. Any chances you will make a wildcard draft for Game Week 13? So Optimus Prime, I might, if it's a kind of requested video enough, I'll do a wildcard draft like I did this week. And if they're popular enough, I mean, anything that you guys want, I'll create. So I might do that for you. Are you using it in Game Week 13, Optimus Prime? Abdul saying, hi, my current squad has 8 to play. Should I go from -8? Thinking about Kane to Salah, Jesus to Firmino, and Mendy to Solanke. Mendy to Solanke. Okay, those moves look fine on paper, especially if you're going to captain Salah. The Jesus to Firmino one, I don't know exactly how I feel about that one because there are nice fixtures coming up. But yeah, most of those moves look fine, but a -8 is quite steep as well. Yes, I will activate it tonight as Optimus Prime. Okay, so catch those price rises. I'm pretty sure there'll be some tonight. For early team news on your Fiverr side. I don't exactly know if I'm going to play on or start or not, but hopefully I get enough time. Do some work. Still got another 30 minutes of work. I'm so bored, then got to study when I'm home. So at least for the next 30 minutes, you can watch this live stream. That should be quite good. Perisic in the front 3, says Mohammed. Potentially, that's what Conte said. What I'm going to do now is I just want to go check Twitter quickly. I just want to see if we do get any early team news. This will be very early team news, to be honest. I can't see anything about early team news considerations. None so far. Oh damn. Okay, so this was. Oh wait, this was a. I thought this was that Spurs source that's usually quite bang on, but someone has predicted that Perisic is going to be in the starting 11, which will be quite hectic. So if you guys do have if you guys do have Perisic, I mean, that could be quite clutch. I mean, imagine Perisic in a front 3. I might even bring him in for that. That's maybe why we don't go for Trent this week, is because we're going to go for Perisic next week. Okay, let's get back to the chat. Sorry. Potential for Almiron. Akash, I'm fine with Almiron, but it's kind of, there's so many other midfielders I'm potentially looking at, and that's why I've just gone for a 1-week punt on Trossard. I won't go on a 1-week punt for Almiron, but if you want to get a kind of cheaper midfielder for the long term, then maybe he should be an option. You think Arnold starts? I do think he starts. I don't know if he starts next week, though. I don't know if he starts against Nottingham Forest in Game Week 13. Not able to get to Salah without major surgery, but I'm tempted to do James to one of Trent, Van Dijk, or Robertson. Would only be fielding 9, so Min's risk for his reward is a strategy. Any thoughts? I'd go with Trent if you're in that situation. You're definitely very risk-taking from -8 this week. So I'm only on a -4 this week, Tony. Not a -8 per se, but I could be. I think right now, though, I might just go for Zuma in the team. Any news on Trossard being benched? No, only rumors, but I don't think the rumors were coming from leaked sources. It was just kind of that he was subbed early, so people were being worried. But I don't think there's I think there's a good chance of him being benched. I think that he should start tonight. Thoughts on Nunes captain? If you don't have Salah, then maybe, but he might be a little bit up and down. I mean, if he doesn't start, that's gonna be a little bit rip. Thanks, Junkie, for the kind words saying that making his work bearable. I do appreciate it. Patterson to Trent. Kevin, that looks like a great move, especially because Patterson, as far as I know, is out. I would do, if you guys don't have like a kind of defensive option, you want to take a punt on a -4, I would go with Trent for the defender you don't have. And that's why I needed Zuma to not to be out. Then I would do the move. But because Zuma is training and could potentially feature tomorrow, that's why I'm a little bit up and down on it. Why do you have so much money in the bank? I don't really know. I think it's just because of how the cookies crumbled. I've Trossard will become Foden/Saka next week, so that probably will increase or decrease my funds quite a bit. But I think it's the overall team structure. Haas saying if you're going to get Trent anyways, then you should get him this game week, in my opinion. Zuma won't get any more than 1 point, and Trent can easily haul. Exactly, that's my current thinking as well. But then I'm worried about him being benched next week. So I almost need Trent to be nailed in the starting 11. That's why Van Dijk might actually be a good option to look at. But then the problem is I have Van Dijk in my starting 11, and then if I want to go for Trent, I'm like stuck with the sideways move potentially, which I'm not too keen on. So I want Trent, but I do worry about his playing time in the opening cup in the next couple of game weeks, and that's why I'm a little bit hesitant on it. Whereas I can always start Zuma next week. They play on Monday, he should be back to full fitness, and he has Bournemouth at home, which is a good fixture. Hi Davey, can't go Van Dijk, not enough funds. Who to get? James. Already have Trippier and Gay. You could go Perisic, but otherwise just go Anderson or Gay. Because Gay will allow you to do some upgrades in the future. That's what I'll say. Alif, is Zuma playing? Sorry, I just got on. It's been up in the air. So David Moyes said today that he was training, but last week we also had him that he was training, then he wasn't even in the squad. So it's up in the air at the moment. At least he's not isolating, because I think that was the reason why he didn't play last week, is because that he was isolating at home. Trossard to Foden confirmed for next week. Ropefly, no, it's probably going to be Saka next week, and then I'll take Foden in game week 14. Joe Gomez, fine option to go for, but just realize that it's a short-term punt, not a long-term punt. -8 feels a bit intense, but De Bruyne plus Maddison plus Zuma, 0 to 2 points, and Salah, that it could be worth it. It's 100%. I'm fine with the Salah and Trossard moves, but the Zuma one is a little bit weird for me. I'd say this, if Trent wasn't injured, I probably would have looked at him instantly. But because he is currently out, well, he's back, but he hasn't played a full 90 minutes since the injury. I'm a little bit worried about that. But, I mean, maybe the injury wasn't actually that serious, and he will feature for the majority of games. Sterling plus Trossard to Foden and Saka, game week 13 for a -4. Sterling plus Trossard to Foden and Saka. Trossard, yes, but the Sterling move might be a bit sideways, Alex. But on paper, those moves do look worth the -4. Hey Dave, is Robbo not a nailed better shout? He's back to fitness more than Trent and should be nailed. So Adam, my main concern with Robertson is that with the fixture congestion, it is congested, that Trossard is a direct, not Trossard, Tsimikas is a direct replacement. So whereas with Trent doesn't have a direct replacement, yes, Gomez could play there, but Tsimikas is a nailed. He's been playing at left back for Liverpool, so I think that he might come in. England Iceman says, let's go see. Mount or Trossard. I prefer Trossard as a one-week punt, but it all depends if you want to take a one-week punt or you're going for the short term or the medium term, because Mount is gonna be an option for up until the World Cup, whereas Trossard for me is only here for one game week. So what I would do is I'd plan your transfers. Van Dijk or Trent, I would go for, I can't even because I would say Trent. If you're gonna do the move, I would go Trent, but Van Dijk makes more sense. What about Milner that played against City? Looks more stable. I won't bring Milner in, but yes, if you're making a case for some rotation for Trent, that could be a case. And just think about it. The one game that you will rotate is against Nottingham Forest, because that's the easier game on paper before a hard Champions League game. So that's what I'm worried about there. I mean, maybe even Van Dijk gets rested in that fixture. Who kind of knows? What do you think about an upgrade from a 4.4 to Silva with 1.2 in the bank? Maybe you look at Gordon. He's a fine option to go for. Unfortunately, at that price point, it's not too much to look at. You could also go for a Bailey, but yeah, it's a little bit of a cheap price point, and I think that Gordon's probably the standard in that park. Harry, yes. If you go Trent, just make sure that you can afford Saka or Foden next week for Trossard or whatever you want to take out. That's what I would say. Adam saying, this is such a frustrating game week. Have a good one, bro. Thanks, Adam. Have a good one, too. Thanks for joining in. Billing as a one-week punt. I don't think I'll classify Bournemouth assets as one-week punts because I just don't trust them from an attacking point of view. I know I'm starting Solanke, but I'm forced to. I think we might have got a little bit lucky in these past couple game weeks. 3-5-2 with Saka, Martelli, Foden, Zaha, and Salah till World Cup. Frederick, that looks like a great kind of midfield five. Would you put Ronaldo in your freer team? No, I probably wouldn't. I think I'd put Kane in over Ronaldo. Is Soufal nailed to start for this blank game week? No, he's not. Same with Zuma, same with all of these kind of West Ham assets. They're not nailed on to actually feature. What I can do is I can go check Twitter again for you to see if we have any early team news, but I don't think we will be getting any. I can give you the almost predicted Liverpool lineup by a lot of the fans. So go follow Jump the Wave if you guys want to get more of this. But currently, the predicted lineup for Liverpool is going to be Alisson, Trent, Robertson, Van Dijk, Gomez, Then in the midfield department, gets a bit hairier. We have Fabinho, Thiago, and Hendo that could all feature. But then Salah, Firmino, and Darwin are favoured, with Cavadio at 57%. So I don't know if that's Darwin off the wing or if that's Firmino off the wing. But and that's the thing with Salah, unfortunately, is that everyone's talking about him playing centrally. But now that we don't have a left wing, surely there's going to be more of a demand for wing options than center options, which is like Firmino and Darwin. So that's my only concern there. Okay, getting back to the questions, we do have about 15 minutes, about 15 minutes left. Then we will probably end the stream. But so get your questions in if you guys haven't. And then don't worry, I will be on for about 30 minutes more. So if you guys have any questions, just ask me on Twitter or on the Discord server, and I hopefully will reply. Then I'll update the team before I leave for footy over on the Discord and the YouTube Legends section. Martial replacement. Mitrovic, Solanke, or Darwin / Firmino. That's what I would go for. Get Dunk for a hit for Zuma. Trent in for a hit. Thanks for the great content, Marco. It's the exact same debate I've been having for about 40 minutes now. So it's a bit rough. Eng for engineer. You are the FPL goat. Hello, fellow engineer Iceman. So engineers unite. Hopefully we get a good game week. Hi Davey, -8 for Trent. Yes or no? Currently no, but I might lean towards a little bit later on. But currently I'm on a -4. Adam's saying also Zuma's out because of karma. Somewhere a cat is smiling. That's the thing about Zuma that's so hard to own, is that it's like owning the villain, because you almost don't want him to succeed. But when he does, I guess maybe there is a bit of salty tears because people didn't go for him. -8 is like 150k ranks. Oh dear. But yes, but imagine that the players you bring in for hits outperform the options you sold. Then you're going to be getting some net gains there, and that's what you have to remember. Next transfer plan next week is probably going to be Trossard to Saka. Call back to Murphy or Longstaff. It's a -4, but we'll have 11. James, I don't know if I'd do that. Check projected lineups as well for Newcastle, and then get whoever's projected to start. Newcastle defense or Kane in attack? I'd say Newcastle defense. Yes, Trent might get 8 points, I think. So he could pay it off in 1 week, but then I worry about the future game weeks. You've taken a -4 for Trossard. So Zadesh, I've taken a -4, 2 transfers. Salah in, Trossard in, KDB out, Madison out. Anyone else buzzing for some midweek football? I'm actually, because I'm hoping that this is going to be kind of consecutive green arrows that are looking quite good. I have 7 players not playing. Should I free it or -12? I wouldn't -12. I'd free it then. But also, you might just want to get 9 players, 10 players. So don't -12. If you have 2 free transfers, just -4. I'd say -8 at a maximum. Neko out for Trent. Leave Zuma in. That could also be an asset, but I think that Williams has a better chance of starting than Zuma will. And also then, I don't think I can afford going for a Foden, which I don't really like. Trent better captain than Salah this week. Calling it now. So G-Ball, are you going to captain Trent? Are you going to go for it? Are you going to back that kind of thought? Should I start Leno or Ward? Says John. John, I would literally flip a coin. I might say Leno slightly. But, I mean, both of those 2 assets, I don't think are keeping clean sheets this week. So, I'd say go for Leno for save points. Who do you think will be a better option as a keeper? Pope or Sanchez or Guaita? I'd probably say Guaita, because I think that Wolves might have more shots. But Sanchez and Guaita, for me, are the better assets. Captain Trippier this week. Massive differential if you're going to go for it. That's what I will say. I think Trent is worth it because your bench will be strong next week. That is true. Let's actually take a look at my squad next week. The thing I worry about, though, is potentially Trent coming in for a 1-pointer. Is this my team? Yeah. Okay, can you guys see this? I might just have to change it around a bit. Okay, you guys can semi-see it. We'll just roll with that. Okay, so let's go. We're gonna take De Bruyne out for Salah. And then we're going to take out Madison for Trossard. Okay, so next week, this is what we're going to do. So let's just say we have Zuma in for Trippier. And let's just say this was Alexander-Arnold. Then Trossard would become Saka. That'll be the one free transfer. And then what I probably would do is I'd bench Solanke, but I might just play Solanke. Okay, now you guys can't see, but on the left-hand side is Saka against Southampton away. So let's just say that Trent doesn't play. We could have Trippier off the bench. Spurs away is a tougher game. I don't exactly know if I have the better bench coverage there, to be honest. That might be debatable, to be honest. Name your best 3 options for this game week only. I would say Trossard. I'd say maybe Barnes / Sinistera. And then I'd say let's go Salah. Those are the 3 I'd probably say. Liverpool early kickoff next week. Should get early team news. That is true, but what we could do then is next week we could use the transfer if we want to take a -4. Don't think I've got this John Stones to go Trent over Salah. I agree with you. I think that's a tough one. Safe starter till the World Cup. Trent or Robertson. I'd edge Trent slightly. Can't wait for Brighton Liverpool to lose, says Harry. Don't bring that negativity in this chat. I finished 36th last season and currently 11k. Thanks to your content, bro. Hopefully I helped you get somewhere there, but you probably did it on your own. So thank you for the support and good luck for the journey up the ranks. Play Doherty or Justin? I'd probably play Doherty, to be honest. I trust Spurs' defense slightly more than Justin. And United have also been semi-struggling to score. So fall to Trent or Van Dijk. If I'm doing the transfer, I'd go Trent, but Van Dijk is also a sensible one. What position do you play in 5-a-side? I usually play like kind of a midfielder / forward collaboration, I'd say, but also defend. So in normal 5-a-side, I'd as 5-a-side goes, you just switch positions. But in 11-a-side, I was a left back or right back. Dunk for James, -4. Is it worth it? Yes, I would say -4 is fine this week, especially because James is out injured. Best forward for this game week only. Can I go with both Mount and... Yeah, you can go, but also maybe Sterling could be an asset. Just remember that Aubameyang might be rested because he played in the mid or on the weekend, as far as I know. Captain Kane or Trossard? If we get early team news that Trossard starts, I'd captain him rather than Kane. Davey, why is the stream so early? I'm playing footy later and also got load shedding at 6. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to have electricity in a few minutes. James and Madison, Trossard, Robertson, -4. That's fine. That's fine to do. Also consider Van Dijk, though. Son or Sterling captain? I'd go Sterling captain if it's out of those 2. 2 free transfers. What should I do? My plan was to take out Diaz plus Haaland to Kane and Trossard, or 2 Son / Wilson Mitrovic. I'd say Kane and Trossard probably, but I don't know if I'd take out Haaland. You're going to lose value on him. So just be careful if you're going to do that move, but I'd say the first option's better. Bowen to Trossard, any thoughts? Sydney, I'd just leave Bowen in there. Plays Bournemouth next week, so great fixture on paper. I've captain Mitrovic seeing Villa's form. Is that crazy to do? It's not crazy to do. I don't think Salah's effective ownership will be as high as kind of Haaland's has been, but he definitely will be captain by the majority of managers. Joe Gomez is a 4.5 option only for 2 weeks, then bench. Yeah, that's fine to do. I'd say maybe 2 weeks. I'd say 1 week definitely, but 2 weeks you might get out of him. Sell Zaha or Bowen for Salah? I would sell Andy. That's tough. I want to say Zaha because he's been terrible, but I think Zaha's the better fixtures. I'd say sell Bowen then. Ward versus Leeds or Raya versus Chelsea? Shane, I might say Raya here because I think both lose their clean sheet, but Raya might get more save points. But like I've said previously, if your goalkeeper debate is the only problem with your team, you guys should be fine for blank game week 12. Do you think Neko starts? I hope that he starts. But Ori is currently carrying a little bit of an injury or / knock. But I do think that Neko will hopefully play. With 10 minutes to go, I'm going to give you guys an update, on the team news. So far, nothing. Okay, so far we have nothing to go by. Yeah, nothing so far. So be careful about early team news. But as I said, the early team is going to come when I'm on the pitch. So hopefully you guys get some good news. But so far, nothing. Good luck, Samir. Thank you. Good luck to you too. Are you going to wildcard next game week? Jason, I've already used my first wildcard in game week 8. Brighton team news, if leaked, please tell us ASAP. So I unfortunately won't be able to tell you. So just follow, go on Twitter, FPL Twitter, and there should be someone that's posting it if it does come about. But just please remember that it might not. So just be careful about that. Davey, better to go with Van Dijk. In my opinion, Trent is costly and not happening. Is not happening that well. So Adam, 100%, that is a consideration to go for. I'm currently a little bit off that move just because I think that Zuma might actually feature against Liverpool, or if he doesn't, he might come off the bench. So that might be a 1-pointer. Are you doing Trent in? So far, no, but I might change my mind in the 30 minutes after this deadline. When I'm sitting in darkness and contemplating the stats, I might look at it and go for it. Okay, saying good luck, Davey. May the green arrows be with you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hopefully the green arrows are with you as well. James plus KDB plus Cancelo to Trent, Salah, Botman for -8. Connor, I don't like taking out Cancelo. I'm fine with Salah because you're going to captain him, but I'd say I'd probably keep Cancelo for the future game weeks. How nailed is Zuma? If he's fit, he's nailed, but unfortunately, he's currently ill. So there might be some concern about his fitness. Trossard to Foden from -4 to play 11. I'm fine with that move, but make sure that you get Foden next week then. Rumours of Trent on the right mid of Liverpool's 4-4-2. That might be a case, but I just don't know if I see it. That's what I'll say. It's a little bit of an odd formation with Trent in for me. I'd say what they might do is they might just play Harvey Elliott and Carvalho on either sides, and then play Darwin, Firmino, and Salah up top. That might be better. Will you post your final team before the deadline? I'll post it if I do the transfers. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep it the same as it is now. You guys will see this will be the final team. But yeah, I'll post it over on Twitter if I do the move. Would you take a -4 to get Billing in for Madison? I already used 2 free transfers for Salah and Firmino. Bradley, I'd rather go for Trossard. I kind of chill having an early stream, it is, but then I feel like more people are engaged closer to the deadline, so maybe the viewership will go up or something like that, but I'm fine with it. I'm making do, I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm having a stream, and I'm also playing some footy today, so I'm not going to repeat that comment, but thank you for the compliment. What is your Twitter at, says JJ? It is at DavyFPL, one word, same as the channel description. If we hear Zuma confirmed out, will you bring Trent in? If yes, what's your move for next week? Yes, so if Zuma's out, but we won't get news about him because they play tomorrow. So I would do that move, and then next week what I would do is I'd say Trossard to Saka probably. Stream from the pitch. I could do that. I could strap you guys in on a GoPro and then run around and then talk to you and have stream chat. But I think that everyone will look at me like I'm an absolute insert bad word on the pitch. Let's be honest. If you saw someone doing that playing five-a-side, you'd think, what is this guy doing? Kane on Trossard or Salah and Solanke? I'd say Salah and Solanke if you want to captain Salah, Sydney. Kane and Bowen out to Salah and Darwin from -8. Thoughts? Rohana, I'm fine with that. I generally don't like taking Kane out. For me, it's just a bit of a weird transfer, but I think if you want to captain Salah this week, it makes sense. How was your weekend? It was pretty good. Friday was chilled. We arrived there Friday evening. Saturday was nice, very hot, but then it started raining, and then we came home on Sunday, just in time for the Liverpool vs Man City game, where perfect start to the week, a Liverpool dub. Marco saying, everybody hit the like, only if you're enjoying the stream. Trossard to Saka or Foden. I prefer Saka for the 2-week period from game week 13 and 14, and then I'll bring in Foden from game week 15 onwards. For next week, Adam, I get you on that one. Who will be your best long-term replacement for Reece James? I have 6.1 million. Vernon Fernandez saying, don't skip me. Okay. If you have a wildcard available and currently have only 7 players starting, would it not be better to wildcard out and position yourself for the next few weeks? Could you make a wildcard team? Vernon, I can't make a wildcard team currently, but what I would say is that you know which options to go for. I would be very similar to like a free hit squad, but then I would bring in more Man City coverage and Arsenal coverage. I might even play with 10 options on the wildcard this week, just so that I can maximize those Man City and those Arsenal assets, because next week they look pretty strong. But sorry, Vernon, I can't do a wildcard draft right now because I have about 5 minutes left before the stream ends. But if you have any questions, ask me on the Discord server. Post your wildcard draft on the Discord server and I'll give you some tips. Because it will be available for the 30 minutes after this because I have load shedding, unfortunately. Thoughts on James Maddison and Emerson to Salah, Darwin, Castagna from -8. So Kane, Maddison, Emerson. Yeah, Salah captain's fine. Don't think I do Castagna though. That's a bit weird for me. I'd rather just go Anderson or Dunk, Dan. But yeah, guys, I'm going to give you 2 more minutes of questions. So if you have any comments, post them right now because I'm going to cut it off at 2 minutes too, okay? Why don't Haaland and Kane in? They're taking out... I just don't prefer Kane this week. It's a tough game. What 5.5 defender would you recommend? I go super budget. I go to Anderson or Gay. Are you taking a hit for Zuma to Dunk? No, I'd do Zuma to Trent if I was to take a hit. And he's saying, okay, I'm either rolling with Captain Kane or taking -8 for double Liverpool. So, and it's a tough dilemma to go for. It makes it easier if you want to captain Salah though. Captain Wilson, what do you think? I think the Everton game's a captaincy consideration for me. But if you want to go for it, good luck. Good luck at the Footy Davy. Back some goals for the subscribers. I will update you guys hopefully on the next headline stream. So ask me how many goals I scored because at least then I'm going to be held accountable. Jesus to Mitrovic from -4. That looks fine, Alex, but I would probably want to bring Jesus back in if you're going to go for game week 13 onwards. Does Santo Salah worth a -4? If you're going to captain him, yes. Chris with the super chat saying wildcard in 13. Jesus to Wilson, James to Robert for -4. Yeah, those moves look fine. I might do Van Dijk though rather because Chris. Some people have been saying that maybe Tsimikas / Robbo might feature, so who kind of knows. Good luck, Davey, mate. Thanks, George. Appreciate it. Is it okay, James to Trent? Yes, it is. Is Tier A worth a -8? That's the big question. 100% Adam, and I unfortunately don't have the answer right now. Guita, Neko, Kuku, Justin, Trippier, Aubameyang, who to captain? I would captain Trossard. Madison, Trossard or Mount? Andy, if you want a 1 week punt, Trossard. If you want a future kind of a player for the long term, it's going to be Mount. Emerson to Van Dijk. Harry, that move looks fine to me, but if Emerson plays, I don't know if it's worth it. Captain Mount, maybe, but I don't know if I'd go that differential. Salah's not a differential anymore. Yes, this week he won't be. He's going to be the most popular captaincy option. And unfortunately, guys, I'm going to have to cut it there because I don't want my PC to kind of crash and then the stream goes on for forever. So apologies for having the stream a little bit earlier on, but I will be available on my Discord server for the next 30 minutes. So make sure you guys do ask your questions then. I'll be updating my team before I go to footy on my Twitter page at DavyFPL. But as I always say, hopefully the green arrows are in you guys' favor. Hopefully it's an absolute banger of a game week. And I'm going to start off DavyFPL and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.